Hey guys, we're back. We're going to be working on some mottling. The last video I said we needed some purple, but we've already done purple. I looked back over my videos that I posted. So this time we're going to use warm blush. I've got quite a bit of color here, but I'm going to try to make a new spot before I go and get out my other palette here. I'm going to move it just in case I need to get into it. I'm going to clean this out a little. Get it ready. And what we're going to use is a clean brush. Clean enough, it just has a little bit of residue. And we need warm blush. That's Violet Purple. Warm blush. So I use Genesis. Grab some warm blush. And we're going to mix it model consistency. You follow along with my videos and you can see. And also, oops, that was gross. Also, I have a video showing how to do consistencies like modeling and washes. So you can see I'm just barely dipping it in there and getting just a little bit on the tip of the brush. Okay, I was gonna say, where are my glasses? But they're over there. Need a little darker than that. Okay, that's about right. You guys see? Let me grab my glasses so I can see the baby. Now I have not baked the baby since the last time. And there's my kitty. Come here. You want to say hi? There we go. Okay, so, and then you're going to need a sponge, a modeling sponge. And if you're like me, you like to save them. So once they dry, I put them all in a little Ziploc. And get quite a bit on there. Like to put extra paper towels down. You guys can see. Extra paper towels down so I can blot. And I'm sorry, my camera kind of does its own thing. I don't mean for it to zoom in and out. And you're going to make purposeful blots. Pounces, whatever you want to call it. And you're going to look at it and see if it's the consistency you want. And right now I think it's okay. You can barely see any kind of color. There is a trace. And if I don't think it's enough after I bake it, then I can just make it stronger and reapply. So that's no problem. It's always better to go lighter because you can always, fix it. If it goes too dark, you'll have problems. It's a little harder to neutralize and take care of. Okay, after we apply this mottling layer, we're going to go ahead and bake it, and then we'll do a wash and creasing at the same time. Just make sure it's covered all the way to the edge. And this one is Winnie. And you want to make sure the consistency between the limbs are the same. And if you're doing two dolls, make sure you don't mix up the limbs. It will make a difference because no matter how hard you try, it's never going to be the same consistency from doll to doll. At least it's not for me. Now, as far as mottling goes, you should see subtlety, softness to your layers. I mean, they will start to blend in together, the different colors, and that's what you need. That's what helps build the skin tone. So, but just make sure they're soft, they're applied softly. More of a pastel, soft than bold. So go light with your pouncing. This baby has a pretty good start to her. And within the next couple of layers, you're going to see quite a bit of a difference in your baby. She should be warming up quite a bit. I'm just double checking, make sure I've got all the area. I was thinking in my head what baby I want to do next after I get these two done. And it is a toss between Samuel by Cassie. I'll be doing several in a row because I just did Lucas. So Lucas, Leo, and Winnie, and all by Cassie. So I was thinking maybe that was, you know, time to paint a different sculptor's baby. And if I did that, I would either do Birdie by Laura Lee, or I would do Charlie by Joanna K. But I still want to do my Samuel though. So I just don't want to get burned out on doing similar kits. Because all of Cassie's babies are cute, but they kind of have the same, little bit of the same look. They all look kind of like siblings. Or half siblings. She does an awesome job with all her detailing. And I like how they look like siblings or half siblings. Cousins, maybe. I like her style. Okay. This warm blush will really put some warmth into your baby. We're going to do 2 layers. And I'm not going to do Leo until after I've got both layers of Winnie. Just because I want the consistency to be the same. And I am manipulating the vinyl. It's not going to hurt her. You want to get all the surface area. So that's the good thing about vinyl, is it's malleable. You can manipulate it without hurting it. I have so many personal babies. I was counting them the other day, and it's in the 20s now. I never thought I'd save that many. But I have trouble parting with them if they're not customer babies. If they're not specific customer babies. add just a little bit more thinner because the pigment is starting to settle at the bottom and there's not enough thinner to mix it. The thinner evaporates, and then also you get it in your sponge, and some of it just won't come off unless you like squeeze it and then let it dry. Super duper cutie pie. And I'll probably have to mix it more to make another layer for her. It's okay. Now, the trick to keep it consistent is to try to stay in the same area on both sides, and then as your sponge needs to be refilled, it will kind of match, especially if you're just learning and you're not quite sure, you're I don't know what the apprehensive, I guess, about how hard you pounce and the consistency and stuff. It will definitely help you. As far as getting them to look about the same, especially on the face, because that's what you notice first on a baby is its head. You guys can still see, right? I haven't checked the camera in a little bit. I can't tell if you guys can see or not. I think you can. Let me turn one of my lights around. And in order to keep that random look, you just turn the sponge different directions, and if you want it more organized, you can, leave it the same direction. It's up to you. I prefer random. It kind of covers the surface area a little better. Alright, let's mix up some more. What did I do with it? I'll say, did I move it again? I'm going to mix up quite a bit more because we have Leo still. Okay, we start back around with the first ones because they're dry. Or they should be dry. By the time you get done with the full round, they should be dry. You see me stirring up the pigments like to settle at the bottom, and you want to make sure they're stirred up pretty good and you don't end up with little pigment flakes on the sponge. I'm taking my time this time to help you guys if you need a little more extra time with mottling. And practice on your consistency. Okay. Now, I'm not going to show you Leo. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just a different doll. I'm going to try to keep this video under half an hour. I'm getting it just a little bit thicker this time. Ugh. More pigment. I was going to say darker, but it's the same color, so I don't know. Just a... I'm just going to say darker because I don't know the correct word. It's just, it's got more color than the first layer that I put on. And I think it looks better. A little bit more color. So it's not hurting anything. And it's okay if you go a little bit darker with the next layer. Just make sure that you're consistent. And the first layer, make sure the layers are the same color, even if you mix in like 2 or 3 colors together to make another color, but you want 2 layers on and you realize that you've only got 1 and you need to mix up more, that's okay. Let it dry completely and then mix up more and get the color as close as possible, and it'll still be okay to put on top of that one. But when you run out halfway through the baby and you need to make more, it's a little bit harder. So it's always best to mix up just a little bit more than you think you'll need. And you can always use it again. Like me, barely ever throw out paint. Now with air dry, you can't do that. But with Genesis, it's pretty forgiving. It's pretty forgiving. So, you never know. The next shade that you mix up, it may be something that you like a little better. Or if you're afraid that you're going to mess up putting 2 different colors on and not baking in between, go ahead and bake. It's not going to hurt anything. You can bake just 1 layer at a time if you want. And how I know when it's time to load my sponge is when it's going on lighter than the rest when I started. Starting to get like more translucent than when I first started. That's when I know it's time to add. Get all the area you can get. Okay. Did I get all her hand? Hang on, look. I don't think I did. I don't see much on her hand. So I'm going to hit it again. I was busy talking, so I don't remember if I had hit it once or not. I think it looks okay. And if you want to wear gloves to paint, go ahead. It's not going to hurt anything. especially if you've been like dealing with glitter. Glitter gets everywhere, so make sure you do wear gloves for sure. I did one baby with glitter paint. It was an alien, and I ended up with glitter for almost 6 months everywhere, even though I thought I'd cleaned everything well. I still find little flecks of glitter and get on my next babies. It was so frustrating. I'd be like, well, I guess this baby's just gonna sparkle sometimes. Oh, and if you go to my Facebook wall, it's Fox-n-Sox Reborns, I am having a sale on kits, and I have, whoops, sorry, and I have some eyes, not a whole lot, but I do have a few eyes left. And there are some sold out ones, and I've got them priced pretty low. And it doesn't include shipping, and it's US only. This baby is super cute. I just love her. She's turning out very well, even though she's at the beginning stage. And some people don't model heavy on the face, and some people don't model the face at all. So it's just depending on how you want your baby to look. I like modeling the face, maybe not as much as the skull. The reason I make the skull darker is because it helps whenever I do hair. So I don't have to put a whole lot of pigment in the hair paint because it's already, you know, dark enough. And sometimes you can see the scalp through the hair. And if you're wanting a barely there hair baby, make sure you still put veining on it. I didn't vein his skull, but if you've got barely there hair, you definitely need to make sure that the skull is veining as well, so it looks more realistic. This baby's gonna have thick hair, so it doesn't matter if she's veined on the scalp or not. Can you see her little vein right there? She's got one in the middle of her forehead. Down her jugular vein. little bit right there. Right there. You can see it goes up. You can see her little veins. She's so cute. Okay, that is the end of this video. Make sure it dries completely and then bake it. And then we'll be back for the next video.